No. Remember, you have said here the contract was terminated before they could correct poor performance. Remember, that's what you said.
Correct.
So they can't coexist. You can't have poor performance and value for money in the same context. I mean, in the same on the same bread. It's impossible.
We have written to the supplier to correct the, we wrote to them twice. We have written to them to correct the non-performance. They did that, and I requested them to furnish me with a report of the correction they have done. And I wrote to the end user and say, is this correct? They said it's correct. And then the end user highlighted that not everything was done. And we have written to them again and indicated that they need to remedy, to correct the situation. In which case they made a written submission, and I provided that written submission to the end user. And subsequent to that, prior to the end user responding to us, I think they responded a month later, but the contract had already been terminated.
Okay. So it was terminated before they corrected?
It was terminated before they could correct, yes.
They could correct?
Yes.
Okay. So when you say you wrote to them to correct that poor performance, it means you detected it as well, that indeed there's poor performance here. Hence you wrote to them ultimately.
Yes, we did. The end user picked it up, and in the framework, only places that responsibility on me to deal with issues of non-performance with suppliers.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm picking up two things here in your response. A is that there was a poor performance that you detected. B is that before they could correct it, the contract was terminated. Those are two issues that I've highlighted.
Correct.
Now, you are saying here, I don't know to which honorable member you are responding, but you are saying, confidently so, that there was value for money, even though the contractor or the service provider was irregularly appointed, but there was value for money in your assertion. Now, how can be value for money in a service which is poorly performed?
The definition of value for money is what guides us. What I'm indicating with regards to value for money is that the service that was provided was evaluated by the end user, and the end user paid for what the service that they have received. What they have not delivered as a service, we have not paid for.
No. Remember, you have said here the contract was terminated before they could correct poor performance. Remember, that's what you said.
Correct.
So they can't coexist. You can't have poor performance and value for money in the same context. I mean, in the same, on the same bread. It's impossible. I agree with you with what you are saying in terms of common law and in terms of the PFMA, that there can be value for money even though there is irregular appointment. That's what the law says. But in this case, you are saying in your statement, poor performance concerns were raised with you, you attended to them. Before they were corrected, the contract was terminated, and you say there was value for money. How is that possible?
Right. Maybe, Honorable Chair, we need to define the performance that was expected from the supplier in this instance. The people that they have evaluated and they have done assessment on, they did as per the requirement. What was a poor performance was that the numbers of these verification was not happening at the speed that it's supposed to. And for what we have paid, we have received service. That's the context that I tried to prevent, to put across.
Doc, when were these concerns raised with you? That for poor performance, when were they raised with you?
I think a month or so before termination, and we gave them 14 days, and A week after that, we gave them a feedback on outstanding work, and they responded, but before we could write to them with regards to the feedback they had given us, the contract was terminated.
So they were raised before the contract was terminated,
That's right.
and they continued to work even after they were raised.
After they were terminated,
I mean, no. After the concerns for poor performance were raised, they continued to work for a month, right? Because we are saying
yes,
they were raised a month before,
Yes.
so they continued to work.
they continued to work.
Did you pay them for the month? Are you owing them any money for the work they did?
I don't know whether there are invoices that are still withheld by finance. That process is independently run
But
by
why
finance.
do you say there was value for money? Why do you say there was value for money? Because you don't know if for the work that they did after a concern was raised about their performance, they were paid. You don't know. And if they were paid after that concern was raised, it means there was no value for money because their performance was poor. And you say voluntarily, unprovoked, that the contract was terminated before they could correct their poor performance.
That's correct. The contract was terminated before they could correct their performance. They had made a written submission to us on how they are going to improve on performance. But that undertaking we could not respond to them in terms of their undertaking because the contract was terminated. I could not vouch here that what they had said they would do, if they were given an opportunity, they would have done. But what I know at the time of termination of contract, they had made a written submission on how they are going to turn around.
But you cannot vouch that indeed they did what they said they would do.
I can vouch that.
No, but you are saying you cannot vouch. Now you say you can vouch.
No.
So which one should we take?
I'm responding to what you are saying, Honorable Chair, that I can vouch that the numbers that they were supposed to push, they did not push.
So they underperformed.
They underperformed.
Then there was no value for money. There was no value for money if they underperformed. No, let's go to another question,
Okay.
because here we're not making any progress because you are just being dismissive and evasive. You are defensive for something I do not know.
No,
Do you know Mr. Bejani Chauke?
Bejani Chauke.
Yes.
I know Bejani Chauke.
How do you know him? Okay, before we go there, are you a member of the ANC?
No, I'm not the member of any political party. I'm not the member of ANC.
Do you know Bejani Chauke? Okay, before we go there, can you allow this committee to take your phone to be investigated so that we can see who you communicate with?
They can take the phone anytime.
Do you know Bejani Chauke?
I know Bejani Chauke.
How do you know him?
He ran for office in the ANC. As the police, I have followed that process.
You are saying that before you became the divisional commissioner of supply chain in SAPS, you were in the National Treasury.
Correct.
Why did you leave the National Treasury for SAPS?
I got promoted. The position in SAPS was a promotion.
Was a promotion.
Yes.
Did Bejani Chauke not play any role in your transfer from the National Treasury to being the divisional commissioner of SCM?
I have no knowledge of that. No. All I know is the position was advertised, I met the requirements, and I applied for the job.
So what is your relationship with Bejani Chauke?
No relationship.
Are you calling each other?
I have Bejani's numbers. We're not calling each other.
How did you get it?
How did I get Bejani's Chauke? We have a mutual relationship with Bejani Chauke.
Can you explain that mutual relationship?
The mutual relationship with Bajani Chauke is, how did we get to meet with Bajani Chauke? I need to remember now. I met a friend who has a relationship, not a relationship, who knows Bajani Chauke. I went for a meeting with this individual, and Bajani Chauke joined in that meeting. That was, I got to know about Bajani Chauke while I'm in SAPS, not prior to that.
So that was the last time you met?
That was the last time we met.
You don't call each other, you don't text each other?
He texted me, but I did not respond to the text.
Can you share the content of I mean, verbally?
If it's here.
Yes, can you share it? What was he saying to you?
At some point, he texted me and said, can we have coffee? And I did not respond to that text.
So, did Bajani Chauke play any role in facilitating this tender?
I have not spoken to Bajani Chauke about this tender.
So do you know if Bajani Chauke has a relationship with Ket Matlala?
I have no knowledge of that.
Okay. Do you agree with me when I say you are the biggest role player in the SCM value chain of SAPS?
Correct.
Because you appoint bid evaluation committee members, you sit in the bid adjudication, you sign after a decision has been taken. Now, the preliminary report here makes a finding, and they criticize the appointment of members of the, in fact, not the appointment, but that they had no skill, so they were not competent. And you are the one who made that an appointment of those members. So don't you see this as an indirect attack to you? Let me not say attack, but don't you see it as an adverse finding against you?
The appointment of these members, I do have an appointment letter of these members, but it's not in the file. It specifically indicates, and it makes specific. I don't have. I'll make it available to the evidence leader. It specifically makes pronouncement that those people are competent, and I worked on that principle that they are indeed competent.
No. But I'm saying the finding by the preliminary report. I'm trying to look for this paragraph now on the report. Okay, no, we will come back to it. But the other point that I'm making here is that if there is a finding that is made which says that proper procurement processes were not followed, you are the first person who must be blamed because of the role that you play in the value chain of the SCM of SAPS. You sit in the adjudication committee on the basis of your position, not on the basis that you have been nominated by the commissioner, like other members, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
All the members are appointed by the National Commissioner.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They are appointed by the National Commissioner, except you. You sit by virtue of your position.
I'm appointed by the National Commissioner.
But I'm saying in the adjudication committee, you sit by virtue of your position. Is that correct?
No, by appointment.
But your role, you are appointed on the basis that you are a divisional commissioner of SCM.
Some appointments in the past were done in where the divisional commissioner of supply chain was not the chairperson. The CFO was the person. The criteria for appointment is determined by the National Commissioner. So
has it ever happened that there will be an adjudication committee with no divisional commissioner of supply chain as either a member or the chairperson?
In the past, yes. No. The divisional commissioner in the past, I'm informed when I look at the documents, was a member, but not the chairperson.
Was a member by virtue of being the divisional commissioner
Yes.
of SCM.
Correct.
Now, the point here which I'm making is that you are a member, we are either a member or the chairperson by virtue of the position you occupy or of the role that you play in the value chain, in the SCM value chain. Do you get my point, Doctor?
I get your point. It could be correct, yes.
Do you agree with it? Because here you are playing an important role, correct?
Correct.
In the SCM value chain.
Correct.
So you sit in this committee by virtue of the role that you are playing.
Correct.
Yes. And you don't just sit there to occupy a seat, but to play a particular role.
Correct.
And that role is necessitated by the position you occupy.
Correct.
So part of the responsibility that you must play is to oversee the process. If it is indeed in line with the procurement processes, or policies rather.
Correct.
Yeah, then it means you must be blamed here. You are the first one who must be blamed if processes have not been followed.
That could not be correct, because I have indicated in this committee that the documentation that was provided to me provided me with sufficient information together with the members of the BAC to make an informed decision with regards to what was presented to me. As for irregularities that happened, which are not apparent in the report, those were not explicit for us to know. And for that, we need to find a clear forensic investigation of what happened in that space so that we can be in the position to determine what actually happened in that evaluation space.
No, do you agree with me, Doc, if I say signing something, any document, even if it's not an appointment letter, without satisfying yourself with the content of that document is negligence? You are being negligent. If you just take something and sign, that's negligence. Do you agree with me? You are omitting a responsibility of satisfying yourself with the content that is contained in that document.
I have indicated, Honorable Chair, that I was satisfied with the report that was tabled and the information that was contained in that report. Whether there were other irregularities I have indicated outside the process, outside the report, I could not vouch for that. But based on what was presented to us, I have attached my signature together with the rest of the members of the Bid Adjudication Committee.
On page 18, there is some confusion that I need you to clarify. On page 18, you are saying 22 bids were received for evaluation and adjudication as service providers to render health risk management services to SAPS. And then on page 22, you are saying the adjudication process evaluated and only 12 bidders remained. So can you give clarity? What do you mean by these two statements? Is there no contradiction?
Page 12, we just taking account of what was received. We received 22.
So when you say received, you mean people who applied in total for the tender?
People who submitted the bids, yes. They were
who responded to an advert?
22 in total.
Who were received by the bid evaluation committee?
Subsequently, these were received by the Bid Evaluation Committee.
So it means we're supposed to remove adjudication there. That's what creates a confusion, because you are saying on page 18.
Correct.
Yeah, we are saying on page 18,
correct.
22 bids were received for evaluation and adjudication. So you have made an error there, correct?
Correct. We
So
should have
that
said
word
receipt
must
for
be removed.
evaluation. Yes,
So you understand where my confusion comes from.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. Well spotted. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay. Now, these 22 bidders responded to an advert, correct?
Correct.
And then the evaluation selected how many bidders? How many remained? 12, correct?
12, according to the report, yes.
So the adjudication committee dealt with 12 bidders.
In the next round of evaluation, yes.
In the next round of evaluation.
Yeah. The mandatory requirements, checking of the mandatory requirements is part of evaluation process.
So they dealt with 12 bidders, correct?
Correct.
They
Correct.
received 12. I mean, they received 20. I mean, they received 12 from the bid evaluation, and then they dealt with 12. And they, after dealing with that 12, then their adjudication came out with one company, which was ultimately appointed.
Correct.
And then you signed.
On behalf of BASI, yes, I did.
Now, when you sign, before you sign the appointment letter, or not the appointment letter, right? Because the appointment letter is signed by the National Commissioner.
No.
You signed the report. What is it that you sign?
It's the bid evaluation, the bid adjudication committee made a decision on the appointment of the supplier.
Yes.
And we all as bid adjudication committee signed what was in there, what was adjudicated. And by virtue of that approval, in the delegation of authority document, I am delegated to then sign the appointment letter of that supplier.
Yes.
Based on the outcome of the bid adjudication committee
Yes.
process.
Okay. Then before you sign, what is it that you consider? What verification do you undertake?
The verification has already been done in the evaluation stage for the things that needs to be verified, such as the CST, tax clearance certificates, and all that. So basically what we do, we then call the supplier in, we do the appointment letter and the supplier sign, and I sign after the supplier has done so.
So your verification, because remember, there are these 12 companies which came to you as the bid adjudication committee. Leave the 22 that went to the bid evaluation. These 12, what do you do with these companies? Because you don't just appoint, you look at all of them before you appoint this one company that you finally agree upon.
Correct.
So what considerations do you make when you evaluate the other companies for you to arrive to a determination that this is the correct company? What considerations do you make?
The report indicates to us the reason for advancing the suppliers. It will indicate that they all met the mandatory requirements, and those that did not make it gives us the reasons why they have not made it. I have indicated, Honorable Chair, that the process of verification, that the claim that the other suppliers have actually made it to the through the evaluation process. We've got the quality assurance in the process to do that for us, and we rely on those quality assurance to do that. And the reason for that is because of the amount of work that has to go into that verification needs to be done. For me as the bid adjudication committee chairperson, or any of members of the bid adjudication committee, to go back to the source documents to verify that information could become very cumbersome in the process. Hence, there's a segregation of responsibilities between what the bid evaluation committee needs to do and what the bid adjudication committee needs to do.
Okay. Now, the finding that was made by the internal audit team, does it relate to the company that you finally appointed, or it relates to a process that was that you underwent towards the appointment of the company?
The findings are relating to suppliers. It appears in the report that it's not only MediHealth 24 Tshwane that filtered through unfairly. There are other suppliers that also filtered through unfairly in the process.
Yeah, no, but let's leave the other suppliers. Is there any finding that was made in relation to a company that you appointed?
Yes.
What was that finding?
The findings are that they were not supposed to have filtered through, that's one. That they do not have a third-party agreement with the owners of the buildings that they are operating in. And then there's also issue that they were fronting at the time when after the adjudication. During adjudication, Mr. Matlala was the sole owner
Yes.
of the contract.
Yeah, let's talk about findings which were prevalent when you appointed them.
Yeah, those are the findings.
Yeah, but these people were appointed by you, remember, and adverse findings against them are made, and you distance yourself from that. Because I was going to understand if we were talking about a process to which you were not involved. To say maybe the PEC failed to do A, B, C, and D, or the bid specification committee failed to do A, B, C, and D. But here, they are talking about a company that you appointed. They are making adverse findings against a company that was appointed by you. And you want to say, and you want to distance yourself from that. Well, what is that really?
I'm not distancing myself from the findings that were determined in the bid evaluation process. I'm not distancing myself from that because I am the Divisional Commissioner of Supply Chain. I need to deal with that. What I have indicated in this committee is that what was presented to us and which we deemed sufficient at the time has indicated that the process was okay. Irregularities that could have...
The time has expired. Thank you so much, Honorable Nomvalo.